Let's take a moment and forget about all the other Terminator movies in the franchise, and just focus on the one that started it all, the Terminator. This means we're not talking about convoluted timelines, or the differences in T-models, or any specifics about how exactly the future becomes doomed for humanity. Instead, let's appreciate the Terminator movie for what it is, which begs the question, what is it? Is it strictly a glorified action film? While it certainly has plenty of gunfire and high-speed chases, this movie consists of a bit more than your typical action flick. Director James Cameron incorporated film noir style to the overall look and feel of the Terminator. The classic shadow of window blinds falling across the scene and the elongated alleyways are minor but effective touches that harken from an earlier period of movie making. In fact, Cameron might have considered this the magnum opus of his career, since it was his first feature-length film, and there was no guarantee that he'd have another shot at making another one. Maybe that's why we see so many other styles of film genre, like elements of horror, such as when we see the T-800 in all of its cybernetic glory, a red-eyed, ghoulish, metallic skeleton of futuristic AI. There's also a slasher feel to this movie, as it ends like most slasher films, with a female protagonist besting the villain, and also having a sexually active friend who ends up as the victim. There's mystery here, as the movie gives us no indication of Arnold's true character makeup until we're well into the story. There's romance, and war, and sci-fi, and clumsy attempts at comedy.
Isn't real leather, is it?
Nice going, kid. How to give you the tip?
Look at it this way, in 100 years, who's gonna care?
But what makes this movie so great is how all of these genres blend together so well, creating a movie that stands apart and a story that has inspired other blockbuster franchises. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays his role to perfection as the emotionless android from the future. Even his voice is perfectly monotone and devoid of personality. Linda Hamilton is a convincing Sarah Connor, who goes from a naive and fretful waitress to showing glimpses of the warrior mother she will become, as her son will learn and inherit traits needed from her to defeat the robots in the future.
Move it, Reese! On your feet, soldier! On your feet!
Linda does a great job of coming across as someone unhappy with her lot in life, doing what she has to in order to get by, failing at love, and believably unsure of how to feel when a supposed man from the future claims a robot is trying to kill her because her son is the savior of humanity. Michael Biehn plays the man of the future as Kyle Reese. He does well emoting all the frustrations and insecurities of someone displaced out of time and in a completely different environment from what he knows. None of these three truly fall into a traditional role because Arnold may be an unstoppable killing machine, but he's doing it to preserve his own future and that of his robotic race. Sarah Connor may be helpless, but she doesn't do anything blatantly stupid to get herself or others killed. All of her choices seem completely within the realm of possibility, should anyone have been in her predicament. And Kyle Reese? He's a hero with PTSD, who steals from the homeless, fails to save his fellow soldiers during a battle in the future, and is not able to ride off into the sunset with the heroine. Of course, you have your cliched characters, like the chain-smoking detectives, and ditzy friend who has sex while wearing headphones. Others have pulled deeper meanings out of the Terminator, such as the T-800, by comparison to Kyle Reese, defining the identity of manhood. Which character better answers what masculinity truly is? Does the Terminator movie redefine gender politics by sublimating patriarchal supremacy to the female role? Or are the concessions to a newly empowered sense of womanhood simply meager scraps that are undermined by the fact that our Shiro is only important because of the male hero she will birth into this world? Are the horrors of an apocalyptic future already being desensitized in our society based on the cultural aspects presented in the club scene that features prison-like decor? What are the limits to man's relationship with advanced technology? And does the T-800 create an existential crisis of our individual anxieties towards death, or tendencies to deny death, and our aspiration to conquer it. Last but not least, the music for this movie is terrific. The 80s synth goes perfectly along with the robotic aspects of the film. The composer stated that he strived for the sound of a cyborg's heart, and that can be heard in the deeper bass notes, while rising above it is the hopeful sound of a straining melody that always dies off. The entire soundtrack comes across as a dirge, sometimes sounding like a jump scare tactic, and only briefly chiming in with a quaint aloofness that reflects Sarah Connor's early obliviousness to humanity's doom. It's a great score to listen to in the background, and definitely fits the gloomy yet flicker of hope tone that the movie displays. Besides all the exposition on classifying the Terminator and understanding any perceived layers to its storytelling, one thing is for certain: this movie is fun. The pace is good and never slows down for too long, but doesn't keep hitting with one action sequence after another. It's a movie about more than just violence. It's a big what if. What would you change about the past? Would you have done anything different from the main characters? Are there multiple timelines in this one movie alone, or was it always only one timeline? The consideration of all these questions, and more, are why you should rewatch The Terminator. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. What did you think of the movie? And if you have any suggestions on other movies we can do a video essay on, just let us know. We appreciate your support, and give us a like and a sub. Thanks.